Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopijana Vallabha Girivardhari Yasodanandana Brajajana Ranjana Yamunatira Vanacha Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivardhari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivardhari Yasodanandana Brajajana Ranjana Yasodanandana Brajajana Yamunatira Vanacha Yamunatira Vanacha Jaya Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Jaya 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 Prabhupada, Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada. Gyatimanandasya jananjana salakaya chaksuram militam yena tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam. Panchakalpaturubhyascha kripa sindhu vaevacha patitananam bhavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasari Gaur Bhakta-vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. I'm going to read some verses from the Chaitanya Charitamrita, Madhya Lila and Ancha Lila. Now please hear from me about the process of devotional service, which is applicable in any country, for any person, at all times, and in all circumstances. In distributing love of God, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and his associates did not consider who was a fit candidate and who was not, nor where such distribution should or should not take place. They made no distinctions. Wherever they got the opportunity, the members of the Panchatattva distributed love of God, even in Heartland. Is this place called Heartland? Hartford, okay. Even in Hartford. Doesn't say that here, but I thought I'd just... When the 5 members of the Panchatattva saw the entire world drowned in love of Godhead and the seed of material enjoyment in the living entities completely destroyed, they all became exceedingly happy. The more the 5 members of the Panchatattva came, the more the 5 members of the Panchatattva caused the rain of love of God to fall, the more the inundation increased and spread all over the world. It's okay, you don't need to do anything anymore. Sit down. I am the only gardener. How many places can I go? How many fruits can I pick and distribute? Therefore, I order every man within this universe to accept this Krishna consciousness movement and distribute it everywhere. And Krishna was winding up his pastimes 500 years ago, 5,000 years ago. He was just about to leave and Ganga Devi approached him. She said, my dear Lord, I want to come back home too. I don't want to stay here. Kali Yuga is just around the corner. And I really, really don't want to be inundated with all the sinful reactions of the people of this age. So please let me come back home with you. This is mentioned in the Brahma Vivarta Purana. Krishna replied to Ganga Devi, it's okay, Ganga, you stay. My Senopati, Commander-in-Chief, Bhakta will come and he will spread Krishna consciousness all over the world. And the devotees from the preachers from all over the world will come to Sridham Mayapur and bathe in your waters and purify your waters. Yeah, I couldn't actually understand this part. I asked Jayapataka Maharaj once about it because he quotes this verse a lot. And I said, does that mean that I can go on the banks of Mother Ganga and say, are you ready, Mother Ganga? I've come to purify you. And of course he said, no, that doesn't mean that one of us, but the culmination of all the preachers of the world coming and bathing in the Ganges purifies Mother Ganga from all the sinful reactions of the sinners. In 1977 also there was a Kumbh Mela in Allahabad, and I was there. At that time Srila Prabhupada was present, and he ordered us to go and bathe at a certain time when there was a certain auspicious time for bathing. And he told us, out of respect, please bring some water so I can bathe, yeah. Although it was not necessary for he himself to bathe in the Ganga itself, but he wanted to respect the water on his head, so he asked us to bring some water back. But this is an interesting point that through our activities, Sankirtan activities of preaching Krishna consciousness, our hearts become pure. And when we meet together at Sridham Mayapur, there's there's an inundation of devotees from all over the world, it creates a very, very auspicious atmosphere. So auspicious that we become surcharged with spiritual transformations. Srila Prabhupada said that he created the Vrindavan Mayapur festival for that reason. Like we could come and take some relief from our preaching activities in the West and inundate ourselves with spiritual energy so that we can continue our preaching. Of course, one devotee, I think it was from Los Angeles, he had a better idea. Well, he thought that he had a better idea. So he approached Prabhupada at one point and said, Prabhupada, I'm bringing so many devotees to Mayapur every year, and it's the total expense is quite a lot. So maybe my idea is that we don't send the devotees to Mayapur, but we use that money for preaching instead. We can save some money and use it for preaching. And Prabhupada's reply was, no, we can save some money in a different way. There are other ways to save money. He said you can do your preaching, you can do your activities each day without taking any prasadam. And you save a lot of money. So, of course the point Prabhupada was making was that as you cannot possibly do your service each day without taking prasad, of course not just that it's filling our bellies, but prasadam is giving us spiritual strength too. But just as you cannot serve on a daily basis without taking prasad, so neither can you just continue going on preaching and preaching without getting some spiritual energy from the Holy Dham. So paramount importance. And Rupa Goswami mentions this also in the Nectar of Devotion, how we've got to, there are 5 main items of devotional service which are very important for us. And one of them is to regularly go to the Holy Dham, and if possible even live at one of the holy dhams. So then Krishna said to Ganga, for 10,000 years there will be Eka Varna. There will be only one Varna, and that Varna would be that everyone would be a Hari Bhakta. Everyone would be a devotee. And the period would last 10,000 years. After that period, the full force of Kali Yuga will inundate the world, and at that time your waters should flow underground until the next Satya Yuga appears. And nowadays they have these instruments where they can detect things underground, and they see that Mother Saraswati, she is flowing mostly underground. There's only 2 places where she's visible at present moment. So Krishna is advising Ganga Devi to do the same, that when full force of Kali Yuga inundates this world, and it will be very, very heavy. We think that we have hard times now, I mean, it appears to be very, very difficult, but it will get even more difficult. But of course, we're lucky because our protection is that we have Lord Chaitanya, Lord Nityananda's special mercy raining down on us, giving us protection from the influence of this age. So this is the mercy which we are receiving on a daily basis by executing the will of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Sri Nityananda Prabhu by assisting them in spreading Krishna consciousness. There's a couple of reggae songs I would like to share with you. There was a band, a European reggae Hare Krishna band back in the early 80s, and they wrote some songs which, well, they did an album actually which was very, very good. I'm just going to share some of this with you. There's one song which portrays the materialistic society. I'll read that one out first. It's called The Vile Society. They're trying to hang their hat where their hand can't reach. And those who don't know nothing, they're trying to teach. Their hearts are hard like stone, yet they pretend to weep. And those who don't sow nothing, they're trying to reap. They kill their children before they're born, and they'll kill an elephant just to get the horn. They don't care anymore what they eat. They'll kill their mother just to get the meat. They're intoxicating themselves to death, and smoke and fire has become their breath. The brain is just like a gaping hole, and they don't know nothing about the spirit soul. Now the air is nothing but factory smoke, yet everybody is going broke. The school is just like a slaughterhouse where they love to read about Mickey Mouse. And the women all want to be the men, and the men can only remember when. And the children leave when they learn to walk, and with obscene language they learn to talk. History repeats itself, they say, and there is an end to the longest day. So don't feel bad when the axe comes down, because you wouldn't know if to smile or frown. No matter what you may say or do, you can only get what's coming to you. And the only way you can change your fate is by going back to your spiritual state. So when you see that things start smoking, you know the fire ain't far behind. There won't be time for turning back when the big wheel starts to grind. For when the human being starts sinking till the standard gets too low, such a violent society ain't got long to go. Did you like that? A nice song, isn't it? Wonderful lyrics. So here's one for the devotees. And you can join in with the chorus of this one if you like. Would you like to do that? Yeah, all right. Would you like to do that?
Yes.
It's called Come and Join the Congregation. So this is the chorus. Please repeat. Come and join the congregation of the chanting of the holy name. You don't need to change your situation, but you'll never be the same. Can you remember that? Anyway, okay, one more time. Come and join the congregation of the chanting of the holy name. You don't need to change your situation, but you'll never ever be the same. So we can chant that in between some of these verses here. This is the age, it's the iron age. Everybody's living on an iron wage. Gone are the days of silver and gold. If you live till 20, you'll be very old. So, come and join the congregation. It's the chanting of the holy name. You don't need to change your situation, but you'll know. Now listen to what the good book said. Just try and make it out while you're still ahead. You don't have too much time to waste if you really want to get that higher taste. So, congregation, it is chanting of the holy names. You don't need to change your situation. Everybody here can play a part and you'll feel that power within your heart. You don't have to bother what people think, because they don't even really care if you swim or sink. So, you've got everything to gain and nothing to lose. So I really don't see how you can refuse. There's nothing to pay, it doesn't cost you a cent. You wouldn't even see which way your trouble went. So, hey, pretty good. That name's going to enter every single home because it's even sweeter than honeycomb. It's got more power than an atom bomb because Goloka is the place where it's coming from. Jai. Haribol. Isn't that a wonderful song too? So, we have this choice in our life, whether to be devotees or non-devotees. Previously there was no choice. Before Prabhupada came to give us Krishna consciousness, we had only one solution, or not, it wasn't even a solution, but one way to live, and that was to live a materialistic life. Now we have a choice. We have a choice, we can choose how we want to live our life. And we have made the choice of taking to Krishna consciousness, and to different degrees we're also trying to assist Srila Prabhupada in spreading this mission far and wide. And we're seeing the benefits that have taken within our own mind and hearts. If you look at it in the mirror and have a look at yourself, and in your left hand have a picture of yourself before you were a devotee, you will see a change, a big change. In fact, the change takes place even within a matter of a few weeks. As soon as you start chanting, you will see the transformation take place. With me, my transformation took place because I was taking prasadam every day. When I first came to the temple, I didn't like the kirtan because it was too loud. I was one of those hippies that like peace and quiet. And the philosophy was way above my head. But when they put that feast place down in front of me, that was perfectly understood. And I can tell you what was on the plate. It was 2 plates. One was the salty preps, and the other was the sweets. Would you like me to give you the information. It may make you a little envious, because I've noticed that nowadays you don't get the same kind of feasts anymore. And I'll be looking to see what your feast is all about today. So here we go, 2 sabjis cooked in ghee, nicely spiced. Puris that puffed up puris. Pushpan rice. Have you ever heard of Pushpan rice? Pushpan rice has every single spice you can imagine. It's got cheese balls, it's got cashew nuts, it's got coconut wedges. It's a feast in itself. Then there was koftas. There was raita. There was either samosas or pakoras. And there was a papadam. And I think that was about it. And some chutney. Yes, that was the salty preps. Now the sweet plate. This was halva. There was laddu. There was gulab jam. There was shrikant. There was sweet rice and a nectar drink. How do you feel about that? Prabhupada said that when you first come to the temple, you should eat as much as you like. So much that when you walk away, you should walk away like a duck. You've seen how ducks walk, right? So I was walking away from the Sunday feast like that for many months. One day the devotees came to me, they said, "You like our food, don't you?" And I said, "Yeah, it's really good." They said, "Well, why don't you come for lunch too?" I said, "Why not?" So I came. And you could say it was at least 3.5 months. I was just coming, eating, taking prasad. I didn't know it was prasad, but for me it was just good food. And then one day, I was on the top of a double-decker bus. In London we have this top deck, bottom deck. And I was on the top deck of the bus, minding my own business. And suddenly, without me even knowing, even desiring, I started to recite the Hare Krishna mantra. And I was surprised. What's going on here? And the experience was so profound that I was chanting all evening. And I just couldn't stop. It was just so, epidemic. It was like an epidemic. As soon as I started chanting, I just could not stop chanting. The next day I came back to the temple and I told the devotees, I have a problem. They asked me, "What is your problem?" I said, "Well, I keep chanting your mantra and I can't stop." And they laughed. And one devotee said, "Do you realize what you've been eating the last 3 months?" I said, "Good food." Prasad is Krishna. Krishna is prasad. Non-different. They said, "Don't worry, just keep coming and take more prasad." So that's how actually I became a devotee. Whatever aspect of Krishna consciousness you dive into, it purifies your whole existence and transforms your life. Yeah, in fact, the devotee said that when I told him that I had been chanting all night, he said, "Yes." He said, your tongue has been purified, and now Krishna is personally dancing on your tongue, inducing you to chant. This is the power of just taking prasad. It says in the Bhagavad Gita, those who eat food which is not offered, they're verily eating only sin. Those who are taking food that is offered, then it's even a yoga feat, you know. Just by taking prasad, we're performing yoga, back to yoga. Isn't that amazing? We're doing yoga just by eating. That's truly amazing. There's no other yoga system whereby eating you're performing yoga. But back to yoga, even just taking prasad together, it is a yoga feat, a yoga perfection. So, what we're doing in Krishna consciousness is learning the art of dying. In the material life, material existence, the aim is to learn the art of living. They're trying to fathom out all kinds of different styles and ways to live, which ultimately are going to be a complete failure anyway, without adding Krishna to their life. We're not interested in learning the art of living, but we are interested in learning the art of dying. And that, in that sense, we are actually living properly anyway. So we learn the art of living and we learn the art of dying simultaneously. Everything that we're doing now is a preparation for the last moment, where we should, by that time, be reasonably Krishna conscious. And that Lord Chaitanya and Lord Nityananda, they have seen our sincerity of purpose by assisting Srila Prabhupada, or our Guru, Lord Chaitanya, Lord Nityananda, in spreading Krishna consciousness. There's a nice story regarding what we should do as devotees. Now we are devotees. Just becoming a devotee is quite a major step within our life. But now we have taken that step. What is our next step? This is the question we should all ask. We've taken one step, now we've become devotees. But it's just not enough. We need to take more steps. So what is our next step? And the only way, Prabhupada explained that the only way you can be happy, really truly happy in Krishna consciousness, is by assisting with the preaching activities, spreading Krishna consciousness. Shri Gaur Nitai Ki Jai. Sometimes devotees ask me, you've been a devotee for 45 years, what is your secret? And when I think about this question, the same answer pops up in my mind and heart, that I have two secrets. There's two reasons why I am still a devotee. This is at least my own personal feeling and realization. I have two reasons why I am still a devotee after 45 years. Would you like to know these two secrets? Number one is that I've always preached. Even as a grihastha. Actually, a correction. When I was a grihastha, I told my wife at one point, we're not going to preach for at least 1 year, just to see how much we really want to preach. Whether this is just something that, an institutional phenomena that we feel forced to preach, or whatever the case may be. I said, let's not preach for 1 year and see how we feel. Will we be as happy as we are now? Well, we lasted 2 months. And it wasn't fun at all. And we soon got back into the preaching spirit again. The Prabhupada said that preaching means to bother someone. First, you've got to stop someone, because everyone's hell-bent and going in the wrong direction, in another direction. You have to stop them. Please, my dear sir, you're going in the wrong direction, you need to go this way. Just to stop them, it's a major feat nowadays, because they're so intoxicating and they're so eager to go hell-bent to hell. And we have to be as eager to serve Krishna, to stop them and take them back home, back to Godhead. Prabhupada said that if you see a non-devotee running down the road to serve Maya, you should run down and pass him to serve Krishna. You should be more enthusiastic to serve Krishna. So this is number one. I've always preached. I can't see any other reason why we shouldn't. Prabhupada has given us so much. He's given us so much. He's turned our life in such an auspicious way. And the goal, we're going back home, back to Godhead. My God, what a goal! There's no other institution in the world that can offer such a wonderful goal. And all we have to do is chant 16 rounds, follow the 4 regulative principles, and assist our Guru in preaching Krishna consciousness. That's all. And then we're guaranteed. Prabhupada gave us reassurance of that fact, that if we did those few things, and you were sincere about it, no matter what the result was, you may have only given 1 or 2 books out, but if they were done sincerely from your heart, you wanted to help someone to be free from the clutches of Maya, then that is your ticket back home, back to Godhead. So this is number one I've always preached. Preach, preach, preach. Preaching is life. Preaching is living. You have this wonderful building here now. It's an oasis within a desert. You need to fill it right up. So much that not one more person can enter into the room. You say, excuse me, what? You okay, but you can just see from the window. You'll have to stay outside and peep through the window. It should be that full. That is your mission here. And then when the temple's full, you have to try to deliver the whole town, the whole area. That is your mission. And you may not accomplish that mission, but if you have a desire that you want to at least try for it, then Lord Chaitanya will be very pleased with you. And he will assist you in your spiritual life. So secret number 2. Would you like to know secret number 2? Yes. Well, secret number 2 is that I've always preached in difficult places. One time a devotee asked me, why don't you preach in Bali? I said, well, why should I preach in Bali? He said, well, it's nice weather, tropical fruits, you can get good massages. One devotee has a 5-star hotel, you can stay there. You're a sannyasi. When I was thinking, wow, I could fall down in Bali. Yeah. Of course, now I think, is that volcano still active? There's a volcano there, right? Maybe it's not such a good place after all. Anyway, I said, no, I would rather go to Murmansk. Have you ever heard of Murmansk? Well, it's the most northern city in Russia. And right now it's the middle of winter, and so that means it's only light for 2 hours in a day. The sun doesn't even rise. So, no light. Okay. There's no light in Berlin.
I was there was no light.
Okay. I was there where there was 2 hours of light. So you were probably at the peak of the winter. Yeah, no light. And if there's anything, the sun doesn't even rise above the horizon. And it's freezing cold. And but the wonderful thing is that there's nothing to fall down to there. There's absolutely nothing. Well, there is one thing you can fall down to. The devotees are making these wonderful cakes. You know, anyone who has a birthday or wedding celebration, whatever the case may be, they go to the devotees and purchase the cakes from the devotees. That's where everyone gets their cakes, from the temple there. So these are my two secrets. I don't know, you know, if this is a difficult place. Is it a difficult place? Huh? No. It's an easy place, is it? Huh? You mean it's easy to preach here? Where are all the white devotees then? I see 2 free. We need some more. Anyway, this is a mission. It may be a difficult one, but there you go. See, Lord Chaitanya has been really kind to you. He made a prediction too. He said, I will preach Krishna consciousness in the subcontinent of India. And my Senopati, Commander-in-Chief, he will go to the west and he will capture any Indian that tries to escape my mercy. So you've come here to escape. You've come to escape the mercy of Lord Chaitanya. You've come to the West thinking there's something here. But you became disenchanted and you realized actually there's nothing here. Let me go to the temple. You came to the temple and you became a devotee. Isn't it? Or give me another story. What do you think? Is it true? You came here with this idea that, yeah, the West has got something to offer, but it doesn't really have anything to offer. When Prabhupada came to the West, he was preached to by other Indians. They told him, actually, now you're in New York, you're going to need to change your ways. You'll have to change your dress. You'll have to change your diet. And probably other things they were trying to induce him to give up basically any ideas of living a life of a devotee in New York. And Prabhupada's reply is no. He said, you may have come here begging for the technology of the Western world, but I haven't come here to beg. I've come here to give. I've come here to give Krishna consciousness. Therefore, I will not compromise. And he did not. He kept his dhoti, his kruta. You've seen pictures in the middle of winter in New York. Yeah, he had his tilak, and he walked the streets of New York. He walked the streets of the Bowery, stepping over the bums, so that we can sit here today. So if he did not compromise, we should not either. I'm looking around to see how many of you got tilak on. It's nice to see some of you have tilak, but if you don't have tilak, you should try and wear tilak during the programs. It encourages one another. Or you should have the same verse, songbook. Yeah? Dhoti, kurta, tilak. Yeah? Levi's, they have been famous for too long. And we want to make this dress famous. There will come a day. You are the pioneers of what Krishna consciousness will be in hundreds of years' time, where the masses of people will actually be devotees. The latest fashion will be dhoti, kurta, and sari. The hairstyle will be this, sika. Huh? It said, this is Krishna's prediction, everyone will be a Hari Bhakta. There'll be one Varna, Eka Varna, no other Varnas. Everyone will be a devotee of Krishna. So it's going to happen, whether you help with the process or not. It will happen. But you're from India, your blood is from India at least. Prabhupada said with the Indian people, all you need to do is get a peacock fan and fan them a little bit. And they will help, they will assist. With us Westerners, you've got to get the blowtorch. Fire us up. Yeah? But you know the background. For me, it took me at least 20 years. I said to my son is now 21, 22 years old. I said, you're really lucky because you've been brought up in Krishna consciousness. All you need to do now is find an occupation. What is going to be your occupation? I said, when I was your age, I had to spend the first 10 years of my Krishna consciousness trying to forget the first 20 years of my life. And it was a major effort, major endeavor. Yeah? And it's the same with you. You don't need to be convinced about Krishna consciousness. It's already there in your blood. So therefore, Lord Chaitanya has captured you. I've heard that most of the centers here in America are run by Indian devotees. Is that correct? I don't know. I've heard so.
I don't spend much time with it.
No. But you see how Lord Chaitanya has captured you. Yeah? He's got you, and he wants you to help. This is your unique opportunity, shall we say, to make your life perfect. There was one poet-writer. He would write about worldly events every day in his studio, but before going to his studio, he would go and walk along the beach, the seafront, just to get some inspiration to write for the day. So one day he came down onto the beach, and in the distance he saw someone dancing the day away, or at least it appeared that he was dancing. So he was intrigued. Who is this person dancing the day away? So he came closer, and as he came closer, he realized he wasn't actually dancing, but he was picking up something and throwing out into the ocean. So as he came a little closer, he asked, "What are you doing?" And the man said, "What does it look like I'm doing? I'm picking up starfish and throwing out into the ocean." So the poet-writer said, "Well, maybe I should ask, why are you doing that?" And the reply was, "Because the sun is rising and the tide is going out, and if I don't do something with these starfish, they will all perish." And the poet-writer said, "But there's hundreds and thousands of starfish on this beach. The beach goes for miles. How can you possibly make a difference?" So then he picked up one starfish and he threw it beyond the waves, and he said it made a difference for that one. And the poet-writer, he was dumbfounded. He had a lot to say. He went back to his studio trying to write something all day, but he kept being reminded, this person on the beach. And at the end of the day, he made a conclusion. The conclusion was this person is different. Most people want to be entertained. They're spectators in life. And they just follow followers of each other. But there are individuals who are not spectators, they're performers in life. They're on the stage performing. They're leading the way, making the difference. And he was very appreciative that he had met such a person. It was so different. Srila Prabhupada was that person. Sometimes again, devotees ask me, what was it about Prabhupada that you liked the most? And of course, it's not an easy question to answer because everything that Prabhupada did was so wonderfully done. His personality was something very difficult to describe or pinpoint any one particular quality. He was an ocean. He was an ocean of qualities. But it comes to my mind that the one thing that I like about Srila Prabhupada was that he was the only one that told the truth. And everyone else had lied to me. From the carton of juice that says 100% pure to the landing on the moon, it is all lies. Is your carton of juice pure? If it says 100% pure, is it 100% pure? I want to hear you.
No.
More, louder.
No.
No, it's not pure. Say.
No, it's not pure.
Why are you drinking it then? Sorry. Some devotees are drinking it, but it doesn't make you any good. You're drinking something that's not pure. And landing on the moon. Prabhupada was there watching it on the television with some disciples. Suddenly Prabhupada said, they have not landed on the moon. One devotee said, well, Prabhupada, it's on the television. People are watching this all over the world. And Prabhupada said again, they have not landed on the moon. Now if you Google moon landing, you'll find 100 Hulk theories. Who believes in it today? And if they have landed, what benefit is it given us? No, it is another lie. Lies after lies after lies after lies, that is all we receive from the materialists. But Srila Prabhupada was the one who told the truth. You know the story of the king. He was approached by one tailor. He said to the king, my dear king, I will make you some clothes. These clothes will be very special. Something you never see, clothes that you'll appreciate so much. Anyone who doesn't appreciate these clothes will be fool number one. So the king was intrigued. Yeah, go and make and come back. So after 1 month, the tailor came back. I've got your clothes ready now. By that time, the word had got around. Everyone in the town was waiting to see the king's new clothes. So the tailor handed the clothes to the king. There were no clothes, but the king didn't want to feel like a fool either. So he took the clothes and changed his clothes and went parading in the streets. No one wanted to feel like a fool. So everyone was having a festival, showering flowers on the king. Oh, look at the king's new clothes. until one child said, "The king has no clothes on." And then they heard the child say, "The king has no clothes." Then they were thinking, wow, if a child said the king, maybe the king doesn't have any clothes. No, the king doesn't have any clothes. So Prabhupada was like that child. He had the audacity to say, "You are lying, you are cheating. Hogs, dogs, camels, asses. Take up Krishna consciousness. Perfect your life and be happy." So we're very fortunate to be devotees. We should be very grateful to the gifts that Srila Prabhupada has given us. And assist also Srila Prabhupada and help distribute some books. I will also we will both sign the books today if you want to purchase a Bhagavad Gita and give to one of your friends. We can sign the book for you. But we must give them out. During this time, Christmas period, the whole world is doing marathon, book marathon. Are you doing one here? Yeah? You know, in India, what they do, in South India, they have this scale system. They put the wife on one side of the scale, and then the Bhagavad Gita is on the other side. And when it balances out, that many Bhagavad Gitas he will purchase and distribute. Nice system, that. Put the wife on the scale. Get a scale. So many different ways to distribute. Prabhupada said, just use your good intelligence, that's all. So thank you very much. If you have any questions, I'll try to answer a few questions. Yes? It was done by a group, a reggae band. I don't remember their name. It was way back in the early 80s. But if you want a translation, I can give you. Do you want me to give you? And George Harrison too, he wrote a nice song. Let me just finish off with this song because it's also very nice. It's called The Art of Dying. There'll come a time when all of us must leave here. Then nothing Sister Mary can do will keep me here with you. As nothing in this life that I have been trying could equal or surpass the art of dying. Do you believe me? There will come a time when all of your hopes are faded, when things that seem so very plain become an awful, when things that seem to be very plain become an awful pain, searching for the truth among the lying, and answered when you've learned the art of dying. Do you believe me? And if you want it, then you must find it. But when you find it, there will be no need for it. There will come a time when most of us return here, brought back by our desire to be a perfect entity, living through 1,000,000 years of crying until we realize the art of dying. Do you believe me? Wonderful song. Thank you so much. Oh, yes. I was afraid you were going to ask that question. Maharaj?
It's serving a deep. Taking the honor of Vishnu Prasadam and serving to the
Maharaj is saying it is part of the worshiping the deities. We make offerings and then we respect those offerings. So it comes in line with worship. All right? He's my boss. That's a good question. Oh, from me. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna.